All right, I think it's the time's up. So, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining DataCon LA 2021. My name is Ho Chen Son, your host, and our co-host today is the Nancy Melusi. Uh, we will be moderating the chat and Q&A for during this session. Today we have our guest, Braddock Gaskill. Gaskill is CEO at Sender AI LLC, and he'll be talking about using AI to redefine our user experience. Without further ado, um, I'm going to hand this over to the speaker, and thanks for being here, Braddock.
Hello, everyone. Just sound check. You guys can hear me okay? I'll assume that's a yes. Hi, I'm Braddock Gaskill. I'm CEO of Ascender AI, and I'm going to talk about using AI to redefine the user experience, um, which is a broad topic, but one that we're tackling head on. Let me bring up my notes. So we kind of live at the confluence of artificial intelligence and user experience design. Um, so we're trying to The idea is to take AI and infuse it into user interfaces at every level, every step of interface that you do, for all the way from finding documents to reading documents. Um, and we're doing this with two combined approaches. First, we're using AI to help guide the user through the information. And second, we're making use of spatial interfaces that provide a more human-friendly experience. Um, we use a lot of AI technology to do this. We use speech recognition, machine translation, natural language understanding, summarization, sentiment analysis. We're using all of these things, all in order to make the user's experience with the data more pleasant and more productive. Um, so, what is the pain, and what is the remedy? Um, so the pain point we see is in especially enterprise search. The way we're searching is, I call it inhumane. We do a search like on the right hand side here, a visualization of documents um, on Google, and we get a bunch of results back. Um, we look at the snippets that Google provides and try to determine from that snippet whether the document is relevant to us or not. It may or may not be a good match. We may or may not go into the document, open a whole new web browser window, search that document for what's relevant to us, come back to the search because it wasn't a good fit, do the search again, modify the search, redo the search, and I would be surprised if anybody in the room has ever looked at more than the top 5 or 6 search results from Google. Google is exceptional in that they have everybody's data. They have all the data, and they're building a very novel user interface on top of it. But the same is not true for enterprise search or searching things like chat rooms or television, TV transcripts, or unstructured data like that. For enterprise search and other search like that, the quality is very low. I mean, we've all seen custom search implementations that just don't work, and we are attempting to address that. Um, so to answer that, we created Ascender, which is a startup, founded in 2019. We provide an intuitive visual environment with AI-driven presentation of information and sophisticated search tools. Um, what I'm going to show you today is an application of our technology to media monitoring, which is the first field that we've gotten an inroad into. Um, and media monitoring is the monitoring of 24/7 broadcast TV stations, radio stations, newspapers on multiple languages all around the world. Um, our media monitoring platform covers over 1,300 websites, web news sites, multiple broadcast news channels in multiple languages, and social media such as YouTube and Twitter. We have global coverage in a variety of languages. Um, we have a spatial environment, which I'll show you in a second, It's very much a pan and zoom type of environment, a Google Earth sort of environment where you can move around and zoom in to see more detail. Um, and we also classify our um, our uh, our documents into topics. So let me just skip to the demo. Example are the search results for SpaceX for the past week, maybe 30 days. I don't remember. Um, and as you can see, we're in a pan zoom environment here. So I can move things around. I can zoom in on things that are interesting to me, and the things that are interesting to me get filled in with more and more detail, something that I'll harp on a little bit later. And each one of these bubbles is one news article or one television newscast clip, or one Twitter, or one tweet, one YouTube video. You get the idea. We would generally call them all documents or just call them bubbles. And these documents are they have their topics identified, again with AI, and the items that are topically related are near each other in the layout. So if I see this dark blue thing is of interest, I can drill down to it, and it tells me it's about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos fighting, um, which seems to be common these days. I have a legend of all my topics. If I don't want to hear about them fighting, I can turn that off, and the other documents adjust themselves accordingly. So like the purple cluster has a lot of Chinese. I'm not really interested in Chinese content right now, so I'm going to take that out. And again, it's all dynamic interface with optimized layout. Um, that's We also have a timeline tool, which allows us to look at documents by publication time. So if we were interested in what the new media coverage of SpaceX the past few weeks has been, we see a huge spike here just a few days ago, and we can drill down into that spike with this timeline tool. It's just a histogram of articles and when they were written, and we see quickly this is all the inspiration for coverage. Uh, about the tourist flight that just landed yesterday. Um, so, like I said, we have video is a full first-class object for us. We were built in a lot of ways around video and video transcripts. We have video captioning support. We have multilingual speech recognition and machine translation for worldwide video. Um, we're built from the ground up for multilingual content. Here's examples of Arabic, the right to left language, no problem. And we have AI modules for language specific functionality that can be plugged into our architecture very easily. And we have a named entity recognition engine for Arabic, which is what the output of this is. Let me just show you a demo of what should we look for? Something more geopolitical. I'm going to look for Putin for the last month. And these are just saved searches. I can use searches over here on the search bar with the search options, but I prefer on demos just to save my searches as bookmarks, and then I can pull them in. Now we have here a lot of Russian 24 coverage, and there's some. This is oops. This is MSNBC coverage. So we can go in all the way to the MSNBC coverage. We can play it. I don't think you can hear it. I don't think you can hear that because of the way the desktop sharing works on this platform. But at any rate, this is Rachel Maddow, and we're getting closed captioning. In this case, we're getting actual closed captioning from the TV source. That is not usually the case, and it's usually not in English. So let's show something that's more interesting, like this is Russian. This is Russian 24, a far-right Russian news source, which is sort of entertaining at times. Now, as the announcer speaks, what she's saying is highlighted in the text. So we have a full transcript here of the video clip, and we can also play this full screen and see the transcript and just watch it like a normal show. And if we are a Russian language expert, we can go back to the Russian. Sorry, the video conferencing is sort of goofing this up. Russian. And then you get the original Russian here. So to be clear, that is going from spoken Russian through the speech recognition tuned for Russian, which is then run through a machine translation system between Russian and English, and then you have the resulting English here. You can search the English, you can search the Russian, you can be presented with the English, you can be presented with the Russian. It's full multilingual capability. Let me go back to. So one of our key features is a multiple level of detail. At the top level, we have when the bubbles are different sizes, you're seeing more and more information. As the bubbles get bigger, you see more and more until you see the entire content of the bubble. At the lowest level of detail, you see just maybe an image associated with the bubble, or maybe a keyframe from the video. If you drill into the bubble a little bit, you'll get artificially intelligent generated keywords. So these are named entities that were extracted from the system, from the document, and put there. And that's great, because if in that level you say I'm not interested in Shabatafa, then you can just eliminate it. But if you are interested in barrier, you can say, okay, I want more about information about this. I'll drill in further. If you drill in another level further, it gives you a summary of the document, or at least a partial summary of the document here. And then if you drill all the way in and put it in what's called focused mode, you get the entire content, plus highlighting that I'll explain in a minute. And you can scroll down and see the entire content all together. And we have another level of reading beyond that, which I'll show you in a minute. But we're so enthusiastic about AI, we actually infuse AI into our text. So what we do on all the text that we display is we run named entity recognition on it, and we run natural language understanding on it, and we use it to modulate the size of the text. And so if you read through this text here, you can skim it and just see the headlines, the major players: Brett Favre, National Trump Golf Club, New Jersey, Thursday, USA Today Sports, etc., and Barack Obama. And so it actually modulates the size of the text according to the importance of it. So this is sort of an emphasis module. And then as you're zooming through the system, when you zoom into an item and look at it in detail, when you zoom back out, that item becomes grayed out to show you what you've actually already looked at. So you're leaving breadcrumbs for yourself as you move through item by item, and that way you can cover more items without having to hit any repeats. Let me show you a little bit about this. We can keep the Russian, but let's take some Rachel Maddow here. So as you zoomed out, Rachel just becomes a set of keywords. As I zoom in further, now it's starting to summarize the text. As you zoom in further, it gives you the full text. And it's the full text with the emphasis. Now, our additional thing, which I'm going to show, which is not ready to be shown. I'll disclaimer with that. But this is our new super reader. This is a new reading technique, a new reading tool that allows people to scan through lots of documents very quickly and find out the information they want from them, which of course sounds fantastic. So here on the left we have a bunch of documents, and so this would be a layer below our current reading layer. So let's turn this video on, and then turn compression. So generally, a traditional system will give you this on the right-hand side, the transcript, which is in plain text, and it's a mess, and you've got to parse through it. And you've already seen what our emphasis can do to this. It can enhance it. And we have an emphasis bar to enhance it just as much as you want, or if you don't like the enhancement, you can turn it off. And this lets you scan for keywords a little bit faster. But then what we really want here is the named entities. We want to know what the article is about. And so in this bottom left section are the named entities extracted from the document. And so I can go, I'm interested in George Stephanopoulos, and there he is highlighted. I'm interested in Biden. There's the Biden sections of the text highlighted. I'm going to turn off Biden. I'm interested in Vladimir Putin and ABC. And if I look for Jinping, the problem is that this text is scrollable. So you got to scroll down to the bottom to find everything that you're interested in. You see, we missed things. But we have a solution to that. Using the text summarization and the elastic text layout, we can turn on compression with this lever. And what it does is it eliminates the scrolling. Now all you see are items that were of interest to you. And you can turn some of them off. George Stephanopoulos, turn him off. But within one scroll, you can see everything of interest to you. There's a Q&A. Can the bubble behave as a call out, or is it only to be scrolled in place? The bubble, if you double click the bubble, you get it in this sole focused view. And soon this will be the super reader view that I just showed you as well. So it's kind of in place, but it zooms all the way up to the screen, if that's the question. Let me see. So we have YouTube integration. We have YouTube integration. We have facial identification integration on YouTube videos, or any videos really. We can run it through. And let me show you identification. Let's see. I have a demo here. So with YouTube, we actually behave a little differently, and I'll show you the architecture in a minute. But we go out every night and collect new YouTube videos that are according to keywords or channels that are of interest to our clients. But for these videos that I'm showing you now, we've actually run it through facial identification, and that is not Sean Hannity. But that is Ryan Seacrest. So you can basically search by face. And there's Kelly Ripa. Right, so it knows more people than I know. And Prince Harry, Prince Meghan Markle, Harry and Markle. So you can search by face, which is a pretty cool capability. And and Twitter. Yeah, we have Twitter capability. Let's look for SpaceX Twitter. What we do with the Twitter is we actually do a search against Twitter's API and then pull it into our API, do document analysis and clustering on it, and then we do sentiment analysis on it as well to tell whether the tweets are positive or if they're negative in sentiment, which works pretty well for tweets. And so we're doing a lot of processing on the tweets themselves before they become visible. Although, to be honest, usually it's not this long. There it goes. So we can see any one of these tweets. This one's positive because it has a green outline. Mission shares first dazzling photos from orbit. And negative. They don't give money to champs, they give money to SpaceX for contracts, therefore it's not appropriate to celebrate things that are unrelated to those contracts. So a bit negative. But anyway, this is our Twitter interface. If you get into it, there's a lot of options. You can do by number of replies instead of number of retweets. Then we can go into something with replies and see the conversation, including the images. So that's our Twitter capability. Let me switch back. We have a fairly sophisticated search capability. We're built on top of Elastic, but we're not tied to Elastic in particular. And as you can see with the Twitter interface, we do other things. We allow unified search across all major data providers. You don't have to pick one and do one at a time. You can select whatever data providers you want and perform the search across them all. So if like what we're doing with the broadcast news feeds in English, Russian, and Arabic just a minute ago, it's just all one blob of data. You can separate it out if you want, but you don't need to. We have headline news. So behind the scenes, we actually have a fairly sophisticated engine which handles all of these AI plugins. The AI's plugins basically run as microservices, and we ingest documents in this diagram, and this isn't always the case. We ingest documents on the right-hand side, so we're listening to live video feeds for the different Arabic channels, for example. We submit the feeds into the document submit API, which is a publicly published API. And that gets pushed into the workflow engine, and the workflow engine manages all of the AI tasks. So it manages all the multiple simultaneous speech recognition things in different languages that have to go on. When those speech recognition tasks are completed, it goes and starts pushing the machine translation engine to translate it. It runs it through the named entity recognition. If it's Arabic, it goes to Arabic named recognition, summarization, true casing if it doesn't have proper fonts, sentiment analysis, etc. And it pushes all of that into the Elastic Data Store, which the master backend queries to get the data. This is a simplified workflow where the stream comes in the right-hand side, everything runs on it, and then on the left-hand side, the customer wanted their own web interface to the system. So this is now a deployed system using our workflow engine and the AI components to create a joint English-Arabic custom search experience for the end user. And this is how I see us most of our sales will probably be in this range, though we haven't entered the market yet, where the customer has their own huge data store, and we pull from it, push stuff into the workflow engine for processing, pull it back out, and go. And that's sort of what we're doing with Twitter. I'm not gonna dwell long on market and competition, since it's not really the point of this presentation. But there are a lot of big players in the enterprise search market. There's a lot of money flowing around. Elastic has a $10 billion market cap. Yext has a $1.8 billion market cap. And this is just the Elasticsearch market. If we look at the business intelligence and analytics market, it's huge. Tableau was a $15 billion acquisition. Looker was acquired for $2.6 billion by Google, and Palantir has a $26 billion market cap. So there's clearly some money here. For our place in this market and how we see ourselves as providing a service to humanity, we bridge the gap between search and analytics. So we allow high-level exploration. At the top level, you're seeing bubbles, you're seeing what trends are happening, and then a full detailed drill down. So we would differentiate any partner search or analytics offerings by providing this new user interface for them to use. And our architecture allows easy adoption to different data backends. We were founded in late 2019. We are well partnered with a small family of leading AI companies that we have some common ownership. Our first contract for custom installation was in fall of 2020, and a deployed search system for major TV outlet to production was in first quarter of this year. Teaser videos on YouTube if anyone wants it. And I think that's it for me. If anyone has any questions. And I think there's a question tab on the hop-in that I'm looking at. I don't know if that's the right way to take questions, or if people can just shout out.
I think at this point, it's whatever works. I was just curious because it was on the news this morning about government interference with certain news reporting, like Russia telling Apple that they can't have Navalny stuff on their platform. And I mean, this may be completely irrelevant. I just, it's just in my head. Is there any way for your application to be interfered with, or would that have to happen at a different level, like the hardware level or the user, the internet level?
I'm not familiar with that report.
No, I mean, yeah, it's new.
Yeah, I mean, we collect data from the source. So if the source has censorship issues, then we're going to have them too, unless we can figure out a way to get information closer to the source. Like if they have a special Russian broadcast versus a Americanized broadcast, then we would go for the Russian broadcast and translate it, which is what we do. In fact, the Russian broadcast, Russia 24, which I actually showed, it's so right wing. It's really funny to listen to. But
yeah, I remember you're mentioning that it was really had a partisan lean even for them. I guess it almost sounds like you could show both versions or something like that, at least before they got hip to that. But just in my head, because it was on the news a couple hours ago.
Most of our prospects want the news as it appears in the country.
Thank you.
Sure.
Other questions? We of course recorded this, so it's going to be available. I know we had some people come in about 10 minutes in, so I just wanted to alert the audience to the fact that this will be posted to be watched later on. So putting that out there. Also, we have a feedback form for people to fill out. The link is at the very bottom of my last comment in the chat. Anything else, Hoshan?
Yeah, I think it was a great presentation. Thank you, Braddock. I hope you can find a great insight from this session, and you can always contact the speaker directly if you have a further question. And please provide your feedback using form provided in the chat box. And thank you again, everybody, and for joining today's presentation. And thanks for being part of this year DataCon LA.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you in 5 minutes. In the next, I'm just going to sit and refresh the screen until the next one comes up. It's the quantum computing. So I'll see you there.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll see you. Thank you.
Thanks.